Hey, welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today I'm thrilled to have with us Sheryl Wilk, otherwise known as the Promo Girl. Sheryl, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Like I do with all of our guests, if you could start with, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
All right. So I'm Promo Girl. My real name is Sheryl. Most people just know me as Promo Girl. I've been in business for 23 years and I do everything printed or embroidered. So it's anything from a pen, a mug for a company, all the way to an award, a trade show display, things like that.
Wow, 23 years. Congratulations. That's not
Thank
easy
you.
to do. Um,
No.
yeah. So if you could, can you kind of take us back to what kind of started everything and why you decided to do this and what you were doing before you started the business?
Sure. So I have a bachelor's in advertising and psychology and a master's in mental health counseling. And once I got to that point and got my master's, I decided I didn't want to pursue further education. I was going to be a sex therapist, believe it or not, and just was kind of done with school. I was working with my parents. They had a family meeting planning business. My dad was ordering promotional items from somebody, and that individual had a son in the mortgage business. So as I was buying my first house, they wanted us to meet with them. I had already been to the bank. My husband and I knew what we were going to do, so we met with him, but he couldn't offer us anything better than the bank could do. So they got upset, thought we took their information and went to the bank and fired my dad as a client
Oh,
from ordering promotional items. So then my dad goes, okay, so we'll just start our own business. So he actually started it in my name. So my husband, who was on disability at the time, had something to do. And then my husband passed away. So I had a brand new house. I had a fairly new marriage and I had a business. And I was like, now what?
wow.
So that's kind of how that came about. Um, And then I just kind of played with it for a couple years as I was grieving and working with my parents. And then the business kind of took off.
Wow. That is a different story than most for how
Yes.
businesses start. And of course,
Yes.
sorry for your loss. And, sometimes having a business like this is something good to focus on, right? And kind of help you through difficult times. So, as you kind of got back on your feet and the business started to take off, who were your main clients and targets? Who were you looking for in some of your outreach, right, to bring in as clients, customers?
So at the time, I was very heavy into networking. I had joined the Delray Chamber, Delray Beach, Florida. I'm a member of that now for 20 years. I got very involved with uh, everything to do with the chamber, basically, and a lot of different networking groups. And I was just um, looking at the time for businesses that would visit a lot of offices or do trade shows, things like that, that would typically be repeat business and give away a lot of the promotional items. At the time, I did some of the wedding stuff, maybe some wedding cards, things like that, different things you tinker with to see where you want to be. So at the time, that's what I was looking for in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
was people and to network with people who would maybe do a lot and reciprocal, because I didn't know anybody. So as I was growing my business, I was also networking and giving back to others at the same time, trying to refer to them, grow that referral base.
Okay. Interesting. And so there's a lot of companies that do what you do, right? It's a pretty busy space out there. So I'm curious, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself a little bit different? Or is it just about the connections you've made?
So I am a little different in this fact that I do not have a business, an actual office space. I do work out of the home, which nowadays pretty much a lot of people do.
Yep.
It's very acceptable now.
Right.
I knew I needed a business that was flexible because I have a child, especially now. I didn't at the beginning, but so I I do work on referrals and I do grow that and I do appreciate my clients. And so 5 years into my business, I became promo girl. And I would dress in 50s attire to go out networking. And so people would find me out and about with my glasses, which I'm not
Okay.
wearing for the glare. I would have a scarf. I would have a poodle skirt. I would just stand out that way. So it would, right there, people would talk to me. What are you wearing that for? Why? You know, so that was a great way for people to know me. And sure enough, one day I ran into somebody in a therapist's office and I was leaving. They were coming and they go, "Hey, promo girl." And they didn't know my name. They only knew me as promo girl.
Huh.
And it was so funny to me. And I was like, there we go. That's the branding. I
Right.
don't do that as much anymore. I'm not out as much in the poodle outfit. I don't really network all that much. I typically just wear some shirts with blings, maybe my glasses.
Mhm.
It's kind of outgrown itself. Sometimes they'll find me in a tie-dye t-shirt type of thing.
Right.
But you know, through all that networking and whatnot, I kind of just made a name for myself. People know me. And I don't work as hard as some people do out there. I have a lot of different types of businesses now. My business
Okay.
has changed and my clientele has changed a lot.
Sure. So branding yourself, that's super interesting, and that is certainly a way to kind of separate yourself, right, from everything else, because what are people going to remember when they leave a networking event? Oh, promo girl. I need pens, or I need ball squishies, or whatever it may be. That's genius, actually. Well done. I mean, it seems to have worked, right?
It works. That my tagline that I say, people know it, even if they vaguely know it, they know it. You know, there's a couple different ones that I use, but it worked, and people just know me that way.
Right.
And so, yeah.
So in terms of business, so most of your business is with other businesses, right? That need promotional items and whatnot. Do you have like a size range or like a sweet spot on, big corporations, or is it more small business owners?
So the majority of my business right now, actually, I mean, I used to say small, medium-sized businesses, because as one person, what kind of capital do you have? Things like that, unless you want to take a lot of loans and or go work for a company where all you're doing is selling. You have your own company, but they provide all the backing, which wasn't what I ever wanted.
Right.
So most of my business, as I said, has changed, and I have mostly nonprofits now.
Hmm.
I would say the small to medium range, and the biggest majority of my client is government. I would say Division of Business and Professional Regulation, DBPR, is my largest client.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Most people in my space do not like to bid. They consider it a waste of time because you do have to have lower pricing. However, for the same amount of order, if I get a $30,000 order versus a $250 order, first of all, I'm making more money, even though I'm lowering my prices, but it's the same amount of work, honestly.
Right.
It doesn't take any.
It's still just clicking.
It's still just ordering. It's still just the order process. It's, and sometimes people come to me for ideas, things like that. And so I get to use my creativity, but DBPR is great. And they have actually been a blessing, and the government has been a blessing.
You don't hear that very often, Sheryl.
No, no, people do not like to do the government jobs.
Right.
But through that, I mean, I have Solid Waste Authority. I'm not the only one there, but I'm one of their promo people. Things like that, businesses
Sure.
like that, Cross Ministries, Home Safe, a lot of the nonprofits, Adopt a Family, those, I actually enjoy working with them, even though I do have to discount, because I have since day one of my business given nonprofits, education, schools, religious institutions a discount. That's
Okay.
my way of giving back to them.
Sure. In terms of products, again, we've all kind of been on the websites and see everything available. We go to events and take tchotchkes away. Do you have the availability to get basically anything logoed you can possibly think of?
Pretty much. There's an occasional request might come in. I'm like, I just am not sure. But honestly, as you grow your business too, you develop there's a lot of businesses from China. We have all pretty much 1, 2, 3 search engines in the industry. So a lot of times people will find things, they'll search on our websites and they'll find it from China. But there's a handful of companies that I know, tried and true, test their products, are really good, come through, are dependable. And so a lot, especially like with the state of Florida, they're large orders, we typically go and we'll order from some of those companies.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much, you can contact them and find almost anything that you need.
Right. So what are the staples these days? I'm sure it used to be pens and cups and things like that. Is that still the norm, or is there some new products that people seem to be purchasing more of?
Hand sanitizer
Yeah, of course.
is a huge staple. I would not say pens at all anymore. I used to say even sticky notes was my favorite because everybody needs them and uses them.
Right.
I would say anything to do with technology is huge. A phone charger, a USB, just anything, whether it's even a little camera cover, the tech stickers, anything technology wise is huge. And believe it or not, you would be surprised. Strangely, like any type of a bookmark, very odd.
Huh.
Very odd. But I have done a ton of things to do surrounding bookmarks lately, and items that people can keep and carry. So a lint roller, a lint sheet, things for outside like a wet bag have been popular.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Kitchen,
Okay.
things that aren't that expensive for the kitchen. Jar grips, huge.
Yeah.
Things, there's a slight shift because it used to be, yes, pens and sticky notes and things like that.
Interesting. More lifestyle items now.
I would say so.
Right. Yeah. All right. So 23 years in, what's next for your business? More of the same, or do you have some plans for the future?
I'd been in touch with a former assistant because currently I don't have one. It ebbs and flows. I've had 3 different assistants over the course. And I would love for her to come back in and work remotely. We've talked about that, although she doesn't live in the US full time. I would love to find some people to go out and network for me because I really don't wish to do that. I'd rather actually sit back here and grow more organically from behind the computer, which is funny, but more social media, things like that. I've had a lot of plans over the last 3 years. I've had a lot of tragedy, so I haven't been able to do what I wanted to in the past 3 years. So I'm hoping going forward, maybe in the next 3 years, my social media will change. I'll get out there a little more that way. Do the things I've wanted to do, create a podcast, whatnot. I hope, I would say maybe within the next 6 to 7 years that I can just be out traveling and do this on the road.
Okay, great. So how about some advice for either new business owners or people looking to start their own business? How the heck do they make it to 23 years?
Slow and steady. So a lot of people come into business and they want to just be too gung-ho, I guess, and grow their business too quickly. They need to have their plan and set and change it every year. Plans change. Just like I have a trust, I have a will. Every year I meet with my attorney. Things change every year constantly. So business changes. COVID happened. People weren't ready for that. You have to just be patient. Maybe, don't spend so much money so quickly. People coming to me that are brand new in business, do you need a promo item other than a business card? Do you need something? I mean, who does that? Who tells them, do you really need something right this minute?
Right.
How do you budget for it? Or take something like sticky notes. You get your bang for your buck. Start with that and then go from there. You have to spend money to make money. People in business don't realize that and don't want to give away their money. But you definitely have to do that to grow your business. So, but slow and steady, and be adaptable.
Yeah.
Be super adaptable and super flexible. When COVID hit, I literally kept my business going by selling masks. That's all I sold. Blank masks. That's
Wow.
what I did.
Hmm.
So, there wasn't, in the very beginning of COVID, it was like, how do I survive? How do I make money? How do I just put food on the table?
Yeah. What do people need? Right.
Yeah. So that's my best advice: slow and steady and be adaptable.
I like it. Very good advice, and obviously has proven to work for you. Sheryl, really appreciate your time today. Good to get to know the promo girl. So thank you for your time, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you. You're welcome.